Hello, all. I hope there's an all here. Hello to whomever is here. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I like to talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds. Yes, that is still the number since starting the ketogenic protocol, and how you might be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your lives. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your Saturday, where I am at Saturday midday. And this is a live broadcast. I will acknowledge people who show up and comment. So if that is distracting to you, you might want to move along. Hey, Nancy, love these Saturday morning motivational sessions. Thanks. And Moon Mama says, yes. I've been doing fewer of the public live stream. I owe my allegiance and my time and my content to patrons. And so that's what I do. But I will always provide, to the best of my ability, public content and my experiences. Today, I want to talk about a general topic, which is keto's gone cray-cray. And some of the people talking about keto are just flat out cray-cray. Some are maybe have ulterior motives. Some maybe think they're helping and they're not. Some just want to sell you something. So how do we just keep keto real? For those of you who don't know, the ketogenic protocol is one whereby one lowers carbohydrate intake to a level where we stop burning glucose or sugar for fuel. Cuckoo is a little slow today. Sorry about that. Cuckoo and I, the one-handed cuckoo clock, it's a love-hate relationship, and I keep trying to get her to get straight. Anyway, where we stop burning glucose or sugar for fuel, and our bodies happily flip over to burning ketones or fat for fuel. That's what it is. How do you do that? For almost everybody, the magic number is 20 total grams of carbohydrate a day or fewer. So total grams, total, not net, or fewer, of carbohydrate. Eat fatty sources of protein. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. By all means, eat if you're hungry, but don't eat if you're not hungry. And that's probably much harder than getting a handle on the food. The food is easy. There are lots of lists of food out there. If you're interested in the original, Dr. Eric Westman's bona fide, authorized, updated page 4 from his famous white coat video, you can find it lots of places. You can find it at my blog, the actual one. It'll take you to a link. And if you ever see him in person, get him to sign it for you. He talks almost every week at different places. If it's not on that list, don't eat it. So it's pretty easy. It's about a cup of non-starchy vegetables a day, about the size of your fist, and about 2 cups of leafy greens a day, maximum. Those are maximum numbers, not minimum. And then the rest is just fatty sources of protein, which only means whatever protein source you're eating: poultry, beef, lamb, pork, sausages, bacon. What else is there out there? Just eat the fat that comes with it. Poultry with the skin, eggs with the yolks. The cheaper cuts of beef are great. They have more fat. Just eat the fat that comes with them. You don't have to pile on fat. I got a question from someone today. Can I do this? Can I do keto if I don't drink bulletproof coffee? Indeed. Bulletproof coffee is not part of the protocol. MCT oil does not fall on the food list. Coconut oil only falls on it to saute things in, if it's even there for that. Added fats are not the name of the game. It's not the presence of the fat that gets us where we want to be. It's the absence of the carbs. Okay? It's that simple. So, what are some of the crazy things that we hear? Maybe you guys have heard some crazy things. Maybe you want to chime in and say, wait, it'll get a little what I heard. I'm going to put on my glasses. One thing that keto will not do is fix everything in the world. I'm getting older. I need readers. Oh, well, sucks to be me. Patricia Diaz, good morning. We miss you. Well, I do a lot of content. Every day I'm doing something. I make about 20 videos a month for patrons. $2 a month gets you 20 videos and a patron-only forum, and then it goes up from there, private live streams and video sessions. Had a patron-only video session this morning. My sister uses cray a lot, LOL. Melanie Birch writes, good morning, Casey, you're an inspiration. Thank you. I'm inspired by all the people from whom I hear. Joanne Glick, got you live for once. Hi from snowy Utah. Naja Newhall. It is finally chilly here in my part of the world in full-on autumn. So a little chilly. Turned on the heat a couple of days ago. Moon Mama, always be wary of people making crazy rules of how you should do keto, then turn around and sell something to help you follow those crazy rules. Absolutely. There are many people, thank you for that, Moon Mama, many people, many popular people who want to make the protocol complicated so they can sell you something to make it easy. There are people that will sell kits for hundreds or thousands of dollars to repair either non-existent medical conditions or conditions that are actually just repaired by following the ketogenic diet. And then they say, oh, by the way, and follow the ketogenic diet. Here's the kit, and make sure you stay keto. Well, the keto is going to do it. The kits are just lying in their pockets. Sorry to say. Listen, everyone's got to make a living. You know, I work for my patrons and I have merch that should show up under this video. But I'm not going to sell you a powder or a pill or a supplement or exogenous ketones or some cockamamie diet weekly plan or no. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day. Total, not net. Eat fatty sources of protein and don't eat if you're not hungry. The link to a lot of what I'm talking about today is below. Should be below if I did it right. Debbie Doctor, hey, happy to catch you live. Happy to see you, Debbie. You're a patron. I see patrons here. Hello, everyone. Jane is a patron. Boo Kihoff. I love how easy you and Dr. Westman make it so simple. By the way, link below to Dr. Westman's keto retreat, the first, we hope, in Beaufort, North Carolina, January 2020. Link to the registration is below. There is an early bird special. Dr. Westman, Jackie Eberstein, who was Dr. Robert Atkins' counterpart, ran the office for him, essentially his work wife for 30 years. She's just fabulous. Amy Berger, me, Christy Sullivan, I think will be doing cooking demonstrations offsite, I think is what is going to happen. And I tell you what, I'm really looking forward to this. I spoke in Raleigh, North Carolina last week with essentially the same group of people with Dr. Eric Thorne and Dr. Andy Fung as well. I love these intimate conferences. The big ones are great, but it can be overwhelming to hear so much information. And there will be real life people sharing their stories. So success stories, struggle stories, whatever it is. Link to the registration below. January 18th through midday on the 20th. That's a Saturday, Sunday, half of Monday in Beaufort, North Carolina. Not to be confused with Beaufort, South Carolina. Lori Widmer writes, thank you for your encouragement. I lost 47 now. I lost 47, now up 10. So you lost 47, but you've kind of rebounded a bit. Yeah, 10 pounds, I would be stepping back. Rebounding 3, 4 pounds, 5 pounds. Okay, that happens. It can be seasonal, it can be whatever. 10 pounds, I would encourage you to take a step back and think about what you're consuming. And ask yourself, are you burning fat for fuel? You don't have to buy testing devices. If you are going to use a testing device, the urine strips are perfectly fine and are affordable. The gold standard for testing is blood testing beta hydroxybutyrate. And I like the Keto Mojo. I like the device itself. It has a couple of advantages over the Precision Extra, which I used for years, but also the strips are much cheaper. You can go to my blog, link below. In the sidebar, there's a link, affiliate link to Keto Mojo, but I just use it myself. I've used it. I like Dorian, the man who founded it. He has a personal story. But anywho, what was I going to say? Oh, find out if you're burning fat for fuel, which is all this is. It is not a weight loss diet. You can be 100% keto and in ketosis and put on weight. What? Because we can put on weight if we overconsume fuel. It's that simple. Just because it's keto friendly does not mean we should be tossing it back with both hands. Remember, some things on the food list are limited, including vegetables. Cheese, not unlimited. Mayonnaise, sour cream, not unlimited. You pretty much don't have to worry about counting eggs or beef because really those are self-limiting. It is difficult to overeat boiled eggs. A lot easier to overeat cheese. And it's calorically dense and is not carb-free. So ask yourself, first of all, are you burning fat for fuel? If you are, good. Second, are you overconsuming dietary fat? This is when I talk to people one-on-one, this is what I ask. Are you overconsuming dietary fat? Are you doing the bulletproof coffee? Are you doing fat bombs? Remember, it's not the presence of fat, no matter what someone pounds their fist and says. You do not have to load up on the fat to lose fat. That's not how it works. You need to reduce the carbs. If you're over-consuming dietary fat, then your body doesn't need to tap the onboard sources for its energy requirements. So if you're not doing that, if you are burning fat for fuel, you're not over-consuming dietary fat, the next question is, are you simply consuming more fuel than you need? Possibly eating even if you're not hungry, or not stopping when you're satiated. And we all have to figure out what that is for us. Good morning, Heather Silva. Hey, Debbie Longenecker. Hooray to your no-nonsense approach to this way of life. You know, it's not even my approach. I just did what Dr. Westman said. If you look at his white coat video, it's right there. It's on page 4, don't eat it. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day. Don't eat if you're not hungry. It's the opposite diet. Lori writes, yes, scared, totally off keto, consuming crap. I got weird shadows going on here today. Sorry, I hope that's not distracting anyone. Yeah. And you know, this is the part of life. Food is easy. The food is easy. Dealing with our lives in relation to food is the challenge. We tell ourselves, I use food to cope. No, you use food to not cope, because food doesn't fix anything unless you happen to be hungry. It can fix hunger. Food does not fix a difficult marriage, an ungrateful child, a mean boss, an overdrawn checking account, a hurricane, a death. You know, people say it's been very stressful. My mother passed, and I've just been eating nonstop. I hate to tell you, your mother's still gone, and now you just feel miserable. And that is not what your mother would have wanted. And then there's also the social pressures. Come on, just one. It's your birthday. We brought you these cupcakes just for you. Yes, one will hurt, or it can have to, but it can. And then we tell ourselves we're powerless against food. Okay, so here's a little plug for Patreon again. To all $10 patrons, $10 and up, I'm sending out a series of cards with handwritten note in the back. They're not postcards, they're in envelopes. This one says, I can and I will. These are all my own design. I can and I will. The next one, which is arriving tomorrow, is a totally different design. And it reads, I'm stronger than a cookie. Because we've all been through some things in life. If any of you were in Raleigh on Saturday, this last Saturday, you heard me say this. We've all been through some things in life. We have buried loved ones. We have survived divorce. Sometimes divorce is. We have grown to adulthood. We have been in accidents. We have had surgeries. We've had diagnoses. And you can hear Jack in the background. He's very excited because my lovely maid is walking in the door. He just got back from flying. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. And so we can, if we take a look at our lives as we have lived them, the challenges we've done, and we still will allow ourselves to say, I'm powerless over food. Really? I don't think so. So anyway, if you're a $10 plus patron, you're while they last. I've sent out a bunch of these, and there are only a few left, but the next batch is coming in, and I'll do that every few weeks. And I think I've never done one, but I know people like vision boards. I'm thinking about doing one. A vision board or a mental health board where you tack up things or reminders or visuals to get you through the day. So there's my plug for Patreon. And the link to that is below. Okay, Heather Silver writes, I'm a sugar addict. It sends me into a downward spiral every time. I am going to say something, Heather. We're all sugar addicts. We're all addicted to it. And sugar and carbs are the same thing. We are wired that way. And another thing here is, and so what do? You need to avoid it. But people say, well, it's easy for you, but I'm addicted to sugar. I'm addicted to sugar. Have you seen my before photos? I was perfectly round for 30 years. You didn't get that way by not overeating carbohydrate and food in general. But the thing is, do we tell heroin addicts, oh, you're an addict, go ahead, have another hit? No. You say, well, what you need to do is to lay off the heroin. If you have to get through withdrawals, get through withdrawals. There are not really carb withdrawals. If people don't feel well when they restrict their carbohydrate intake and they start feeling kind of icky, the so-called keto flu, used to be called the Atkins flu, although Jackie Eberstein, whom I'm proud to say is now actually a friend, and we see each other often, when asked about this, she says, I was at Bob Atkins' clinic. We were there for 30 years treating patients. No one ever complained of the Atkins flu. Probably because they were managing people came in for blood tests and everything else. It was a medical clinic. If you keep your sodium, potassium, and magnesium, mostly magnesium and sodium, at levels where they need to be, you'll be okay. The shakiness, the headache, the lethargy is not because your body's missing carbs. It's probably because your sodium is low. If you're not a sodium sensitive, hypertensive person, make sure you have sodium, which very often will regulate the other minerals. You can hear my husband is unloading groceries, mostly dog biscuits for Jack. I make his food. He eats a ketogenic diet. I make it homemade. He loves it. But he does really like the Kirkland brand dog biscuits. And we have it set up so he just goes and does self-serve. About twice a day, he'll just walk in the pantry, walk out with a biscuit. Debbie Longenecker says, Dr. Westman is one of my go-to doctors I send people to. He's the source. He's the source. For those of you who don't know, he's been implementing this in a clinical setting at Duke University 20 years. And he was a traditionally trained internist. He was a skeptic when he first heard about it, reached out to the Atkins Institute, said, can I come up and look at what you're doing? Yes, yes, yes. And then he got a research grant and researched it. And Reese writes, making bad food choices makes life's challenges more difficult. Absolutely. The trick is dealing with life's challenges because there are going to be challenges. Saying I did this because life got rough, because life came at me. Life is never going to stop coming at you. It is like the ocean. It never stops coming at us. The trick is learning to deal with the challenges food sober. And I find that I deal with challenges better because I'm not, for one thing, I'm not feeling terrible about myself. I'm not feeling terrible physically. I'm not feeling terrible mentally, which is a mashup of emotionally and mentally. So I can actually deal. I can actually cope with the issue, whatever that issue may be. It's such a more calm state of mind. Hey, Darylyn. Just finished radiation and chemo. My regimen was easier than most. Stayed on keto the entire time, had fewer side effects than the docs expected, and the few I had were mild and short duration. Congratulations, Darylyn. If I knew then what I know now, some of you know my story. I have been diagnosed and treated for cancer 3 times in my life. The first when I was a young woman, pregnant with our 3rd child, very dramatic, an invasive adenocarcinoma, and 2 diagnoses years apart of breast cancer. Wasn't supposed to get it because I did all the radiation, all that stuff, but it came back. If I knew then what I know now, I would have been absolutely keto. Frankly, like if I knew even before that, I'd have been keto my entire life, and I would have raised my family that way. But good for you, and thank you for sharing that, Darylyn. Nancy Fennel writes, I have to admit that I am a crappy food addict. It calls my name daily, but I stick with keto and feel accomplished. Isn't it great? What do we say around Go Keto with Casey? Food is not the boss of me. Isn't that the most liberating thing? I was just talking earlier, and I said this on Saturday when I was talking in Raleigh. I caught myself saying I felt victimized by food. And then as the words came out of my mouth, I had to step back and say, wait a minute, that's unfair to the food. The food is just an inanimate object in front of me. I felt victimized by my food choices, by my own choices. We have to own our choices. Lifting hand to mouth to feed is a behavior. It is not an involuntary reflex. We need to stop being victims to food. Well, I was doing fine until I went to the food court at the mall and smelled all the chocolate chip cookies. Oh, well. You got to just keep walking. Or, get some beef jerky, but don't get the chocolate chip cookies. Or get them and own it. Don't say, I just couldn't resist. Yes, you could resist. You chose not to. And I'm not lecturing because I talked to myself that way for decades. I just couldn't resist. Yes, I could have resisted. I didn't resist. I chose not to. I made the conscious decision to look at the food, pick it up, put it in my mouth. Rinse, lather, repeat. We have got to put our big person britches on. The first trick is to start burning fat for fuel, because people say, of course you can lose weight if you eat less. That's just calories in, calories out. Well, yeah, you could lose weight if all you do is eat horrible rice cakes with a slice of no fat cheese. You could, if that's all you ate and you ate it, once a day, yeah, you'd lose weight. You'd also be nutritionally depleted, and you'd be hungry all the time. The difference with this is when we're burning fuel that we were designed to burn, we consume, we become satiated. Our body does what it's doing, which is burning fat for fuel, of which we have tens of thousands of calories on board, even trim people do. And our hunger disappears. So yeah, we eat less food. But there's a big difference between eating less food because you're not hungry and white knuckling your way through eating less food. The biggest losers lost weight. And half of them are very sick right now. And they were hungry all the time. Food is not the boss of me is a great motto. I have t-shirts, they sold out, said food is not the boss of me. I've got mugs at my blog, black mugs that say food is not the boss of me. But you have to be very careful and just rinse off the logo part. The logos didn't do so well. I no longer go through the day wondering what I will eat, right? Harriet in the kitchen, trying to give out healthy diet. Mona Tufan writes, it's been 6 months on keto. I've lost 13 kilograms, but I'm a bit obsessed with thinking about it, what to eat, what to avoid, etc. I want not to think about it. I want to make this routine. How can I do that? By doing just what you just said, just do it. For one thing, I will say this. I recommend step away from the videos, from the Facebook groups, the Facebook pages. Step away from the cookbooks. Step away from my channel. If we had sworn off alcohol, Would it make sense to watch video channel after video channel after Facebook group after showing how to mix cocktails? I think a lot of people become obsessed because that's what we're doing. I mean, you do what you do, right? The whole point of feeling better, being healthier, extending our lives is to live our lives. And I'm not going to live my life in front of a glowing screen. Part of my job is to do that. And I am happy and thrilled and privileged. But beyond that, I set a timer on my stupid smartwatch and I shut the sucker down and I live my life. Sometimes that means, it's going to sound crazy, burning yard debris. I really like to burn yard debris. But we have a big front and back garden. It's all naturalized. I've got all this stuff to do. Sometimes it means taking Jack to the bark park. Sometimes it means reading, hanging out with friends. So I will say that when in the first few months, we can become so excited about the protocol. We're losing weight. We feel better. Oh my gosh, you almost want to proselytize. It is like you've been given the golden ticket. But then just realize, well, I kind of know what to do. I don't need to overthink it. I don't need to keep hearing the protocol. It's keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day, total, not net. Eat fatty sources of protein. Do not eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. Boom. Hello from Richmond, Virginia. That is where Jackie Eberstein lives. Lori Morris. Heather writes, been back on keto for a month, down 11 pounds, feel so much better, have started working out again and enjoying it. Love taking walks again, right? Living our lives. Step away from the glowing screens, says the person who is speaking to you from a glowing screen. And I'm saying it with no irony whatsoever. Debbie Longenecker writes, totally true. We chose to eat the garbage, or we can choose not to. Yes, it's our choice. No one gets a vote on what we eat. That's another thing we say around Go Keto with Casey. You don't vote on what you eat. Nobody. Not your spouse, not your kids, not your boss, not even your doctor. Listen to your body. We just talked about this on the video group session because I was coming up with slogans for my calendar and for my postcards that go out. Our body, the original app. Don't let an app tell you what to eat or how much to eat. Listen to your body, the original app. Hey, Shell. And keep the fat with the protein. Yeah, eat fatty sources of protein. That just eat the fat that comes with the protein. Don't get the leanest cut of anything. Get the fattiest cut of everything. Hey, Helena, a patron, my friend. Some free things that you can do if you're in the area, or some people travel. The first Tuesday of most months, Dr. Westman hosts the low carb support group meeting at the Durham Hilton near Duke on Hillsborough. That's the first Tuesday of every month. It's free. The hotel provides or sells a low carb buffet, but you don't have to purchase it. I am there. I moderate those with him. We have a little shtick going, a little Mutt and Jeff. So first Tuesday of every month, you can start eating at about 5:30. The talk starts at about 6:15, 6:30, and goes to about 8. The second Monday of the month, for free, I have a meetup in Greensboro, North Carolina at Wine Styles at Friendly Center. I never know who's going to show up. I always bring a book in case it's just me. And again, free with just information, ask questions, share inspiration. Jean Eckert Stewart, my cardiologist told the thing I need to watch most is salt. I don't add it to my food, but I'm getting enough sodium on keto. But Emma, well, it just depends. And do you have high blood pressure? And if so, is it sodium sensitive? But, I don't know if you're getting enough sodium on keto. It really depends. Because when our bodies are burning fat for fuel, our kidneys can flush a lot of water. With water goes sodium, the queen of the electrolytes or minerals, and sometimes with it can go magnesium. Potassium is a less common deficiency. Magnesium deficiency is not uncommon. Salt is our friend. Read The Salt Fix, writes Heather Silva. Lori Morse writes, just made a trip to Kroger for my ribeye stock up. Cooked one in my crock pot. Delish, easy cleanup. I've become a big fan of an air fryer. I put it off for months. But I've become ribeyes on the big green egg. My husband will buy a full ribeye at Costco and then portion. We get about 20 to 22 thick ribeyes out. On the big green egg, you crank that sucker up to about 500, 550, 600 degrees, which can happen quickly. You throw your nice ribeyes on and close the lid, 90 seconds. Burp it, raise it, flip those over, close the lid, 90 seconds. After 90 seconds, don't open the lid. Put the heavy-duty cap on it, close the bottom vent, 60 seconds. There's your steak, done. 4 minutes. Delish. Helena writes, never tried to cook ribeye in the crock pot. May have to give that a try. And Moon Mama writes, what do you like to drink throughout the day? Plain water is getting so boring. But in thirsty? LOL. Well, I drink a variety of things. I drink coffee usually in the morning, usually 2 or 3 cups. It just depends. This, when I'm talking a lot like I'm doing today, this is a tall glass of ice. It used to be diet tonic water, but I switched over to club soda and a splash of diet cranberry juice and a squeeze of lime. I don't think artificial sweeteners do me any harm, but that don't do me any good either. I mean, they're not nutritionally significant. So why not just take club soda? Okay, Connie Leary asks, why would my urine test strips always say I'm not burning ketones in the morning? Very often, because if you test first thing upon rising and your bladder is full, the acetoacetate, which is what is being measured, it's not ketones, it's the byproduct of burning ketones for fuel. Acetoacetate is just diluted, so you can get a false negative. So just wait until later in the day. And some people, a very small portion of the people, can get a false negative. The urine strips read neutral for them. And keep in mind that anything over neutral, you're burning fat for fuel. Trace all the way to deep purple. Or maybe you're not burning fat for fuel. There's always that. Is sparkling water with no artificial sweeteners good for keto? Absolutely. It's just water. Absolutely. And mineral water like Pellegrino maybe can help gently with those minerals that we are deficient in. Okay, you guys are swapping recipes. Lori Morse writes, I hate cleaning up a stove, not my thing. And I'm a lazy cook. I am not adventurous. Okay, is there anything else? Let me look at my notes. And I appreciate you indulging me. I talked about the keto retreat in Beaufort. Gave a plug to Patreon. Thank you, patrons. Again, about $2 a month. I make 20 videos a month. Some of them I look horrible because it's the first thing I do when I get out of bed. So my hair's all over the place. I'm all smudged and blotchy looking, and my husband passes the coffee cup in front of me. So sometimes I'm incoherent. And then it goes up from there. You can see. Go to patreon.com/GoKetoCasey. The cards, any new patrons, $10 plus patrons, that if you increase your pledge to $10, you'll get this and the following postcards while supplies last. Helena, is there anything I'm forgetting? Helena is like I should hire her to be my manager. She always catches me in mistakes. Am I forgetting something, Helena? Oh, the cruise! The Go Keto with Casey cruise. This is going to be fun. We've already had one. We had one in March. To Alaska. This is out of the port of Seattle. Dr. Eric Westman, Jackie Eberstein, and Amy Berger are going to be there. We're going to have a week with each other, as much or as little as we want, right? We don't all have to hang in as a homogenous group. We have about 80 people signed up so far. I'm sure that number will fluctuate one way or the other. The Aqua class staterooms are limited. My husband and I are staying in stateroom 1533 Aqua class. This is July 10th through the 17th out of Seattle. Tomorrow, if you've already signed up with Lisa, again, you can find all this information out at my blog and the links are below this video. If you've already signed up and we have your email, we're having a cruise call, video conference call on Zoom tomorrow for anybody who's signed up to talk about details. Oh, I'm so excited about it. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you. And Colleen wrote, cruise, yeah. Thank you, Linda. Right, you look great in the morning. Oh, I don't. I have eyeballs. Helena writes, you know my employment status. I am available, LOL. When will the 2020 calendar be ready, asks Barb. Second person to ask me about that today. I have reached out to my supplier, and I just need to follow up and hope I hear back. Lori Morris writes, cruise sounds fun someday. I feel your pain, Helena, the same. Helena is one of the strongest, bravest, smartest people I've ever met. And I'm not the least bit worried about Ms. Helena. Not even a little. She's my hero. Okay, I will start to wrap this up. I'm trying to think if there's any other points I wanted to make. Anyone have any feedback or suggestions, questions, observations? That's it. Sounds like everything is, everyone's kind of quiet. Sometimes that happens. So remember, just keep it real. There is no product that you need to purchase to be 100% successful at this protocol. Certainly not a food product that you must purchase or a supplement. Not a kit. I've heard from people who spent hundreds of dollars buying kits, only to find out all they had to do was cut out the carbs. Merchandise, food ain't the boss of me. Food is not the boss of me. A shirt, I'm happy to sell those things. But you don't need to wear it to be successful at keto. You don't need a mug or a hat or a sticker or a tote. These are just fun things. Please choose your sources carefully. There are some ill-informed people. There are some shysters. There are some hucksters. There are some hustlers. There are people who will stick the word keto on any product. Here's a good rule of thumb. If a food product has the word keto on it, avoid it. Okay? It's not regulated. Slim Fast just relabeled their shakes in the can keto. It's the same shake. Eat about a cup of non-starchy vegetables a day, maximum. If you don't want any starchy vegetables in a day, non-starchy vegetables, don't eat them. Don't. There is no minimum requirement for vegetables. No matter what some people will tell you, who will then tell you, here, buy my cruciferous food pills. Yikes. As Tina Fey's character said, insert exaggerated eye roll here. Not one thing you need to buy. Nadja writes, I would love to join the group. Maybe my husband will be intrigued to go keto. And you don't have, well, that would be right. There's a group coming of friends, only one of them is keto. And there are people looking for stateroom mates, okay? That has to be aligned based on the stateroom you choose and the level of perks. We are alpha class and getting all 4 perks. That's what we're doing. By the way, this is not a profit center for me, okay? It's just not. My husband and I, we paid our deposit. We'll pay for our stateroom. We're paying for our transportation. It's just going to be really nice to learn something, to get some camaraderie. We had a small group on the first cruise, and I thought it was a blast. Yeah, Helena writes, yeah, it doesn't have to be keto, but maybe he'll get on board. Okay, someone's having a conversation. Oh dear. Diane, did you do that to me on purpose? I actually had a conversation with Dr. Westman from he was up talking, and I actually asked him about this stupid chaffles. Ugh. Are you mostly carnivore now? Well, I don't think you could be mostly carnivore. It's like being mostly a virgin. I think either you're a carnivore or you're not. And so I'm not a virgin either, by the way. I eat very few vegetables, but I don't shun them. I just eat so much less food than I did. So my food of choice is generally going to be the meat choice. I do sometimes go on a raw cabbage kick, which is really weird. But no, I'm not strictly carnivore, but I am very low carb, and I'm going to default to meat and fat before I eat, or fatty meat, not meat and fat, before I eat vegetables. Lori Morris writes, taking off 2019 to take care of myself, loving it, waking up with my kitties waking up with my kitties every day. Screw employment for now. It's bad, Lori. All banking is going through this. Don't know what is up for the next. Yeah. So you guys are talking about where you're from. Where's the cruise going? To Alaska. So it'll stops in not in this order. Juneau, Skagway, Ketchikan, the inner passage. It'll go by the glacier, stop in Victoria, British Columbia, a beautiful city, and back to Seattle, where we have a book of rooms blocked at the Homewood Suites, Hilton in downtown Seattle. Shell, if you can be meat-based. Yeah, I'm meat-based. I'm a meat-based person. Peter Ballerstedt, who is a forage agronomist, who I heard speak, and he came and spoke at my Portland Go Keto with Casey Portland Roadshow last year. He posted a thing on Twitter. What was it? Plant-based burger. And it was a smashed down cow poop. I'll let you take it from there. A cold trip. Well, maybe not with global warming. Yeah. And it's in July. We went on an Alaska cruise in May, and it was chilly and rainy. We still had a blast. Don't get it twisted. We had fun. Which glacier? Hubbard? I think it's Hubbard, but I'm not sure. Helena will almost certainly know. Okay, Lori writes, no, should be 70 to 80 degree days, 30 and 40 at night. Impossible burger. Boo. Hey, listen, I'm cool with people. There are many paths to get to the same destination. When people want to push plant-based as policy and like federal policy, that I have a problem with. But no, I eat the plants. Leaves more meat for me. Vegan shouldn't eat that either. Yeah, I will say philosophically, if you're a vegan and you are philosophically opposed to the idea of meat, why are they working so hard to find a substitute for it? Think of all the things that you are morally, philosophically opposed to, and that you try to find a substitute for it. Okay, that's just all I'm saying. All right, guys, I really am going to hop off. Thank you very much. I appreciate your allowing me into your world. I will continue these. Again, check me out on Patreon. Check out my blog. Check out Dr. Westman's Keto Retreat. If you want to get a series of postcards for me with a note on the back, $10 plus patrons get those. So I put on way too much makeup this morning. Okay, I will see you next time, whenever that might be. And who knows what is going to happen next? I just can't wait to find out. All right, guys. Be sweet. Bye, Helena. And all you others. Thank you for your help, Helena. You always keep me straight. Toodaloo, Caribou.